Today I want to talk about 8 basic survival foods that you must have in your pantries. Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I wanted to talk about 8 basics that we must have for survival in our pantries. You all know that I am a huge advocate for a wide variety in your pantry because that is going to be your best bet to help with food fatigue, make sure you're getting all that nutrition, and it's going to help you save money in your day-to-day life, especially with all this inflation. But in the event of a real catastrophe, a complete collapse, anything like that, we want to make sure that we have a large amount of the 8 basics that are going to help us survive. And this is survival food. This is not your delicious and fun stuff that we love to eat. You know, you can make some good stuff with this, but you can get creative with it and make some good stuff. So I'm also a huge advocate for spices, although that is not on the list because you can live without it, but they help so much. If you can afford them, I think they are so important. So let's jump into these. I have got 8 basic foods that I think are absolute must-haves for survival. And the first one is a no-brainer, beans. Beans and lentils. I include lentils in with my beans because I like to keep a good supply of lentils because they are so much easier to cook in a grid down situation. We're talking 15 minutes versus 3 hours of cooking time. So the lentils I think are really important. The beans also really important. And each bean is very close in the amount of protein that it provides and fiber. So I think your best bet, honestly, is to buy the beans that your family likes, or the ones that are easiest for you to doctor up. Not everybody loves beans, but beans really supply a good amount of protein. If you're not able to get meat or anything like that, you have a bad day at fishing or not a good week at hunting, you know, in a survival situation, you're going to want beans, and they can be sprouted for sprouts. They can also be sprouted to grow, as long as you don't oven can them. If you oven can your beans for storage, that is really going to take them down they're not going to be good for sprouting. So vacuum sealing is an excellent way to go, you know, after you freeze them, and Mylar bags, another great way to go. However you like to do it and what works for you, I think is important as far as storage goes. But those beans and lentils, definitely, those are must-haves. And I think you should have a lot more of these items in your pantry than anything else, because in the event of a survival situation, you've got a decent supply. The next thing is rice. Rice is another one of those things. With your beans, it's going to give you that complete protein. It's a great filler for all kinds of things. You can make, you know, all different stuff with it. Little rice patties. You can, if you come across some fruit in berry season, you can throw some in and make like a rice cereal. We use leftover rice and add raisins to it, and milk, and it's delicious. There are so many different things you can do with rice, and it is such a good belly filler and gives you those carbs that you need. It really helps out with your calorie intake when you are in a survival mode. So beans and then rice. The next thing is wheat. Wheat is another one of those things. It is one of your grains. It is so good for you. Whole wheat is great for your body. I like to store wheat berries because they can be ground up. They can be cooked and eaten the way they are. You can do a lot of things with wheat berries, and they're going to last the longest in your pantry. And if you go to one of those places to get your wheat berries where it's already packaged, it's so easy, just put it away. I like the ones that are pre-packaged and ready to go for the wheat berries, and like the LDS store, you can get a great deal on them. And you don't have to package them. They just show up, and the shipping is really reasonable. I'll put a link to the LDS store in the description box. I really like them. They have some great items at affordable prices, and it's all pre-packaged, which is wonderful. You don't have to do that work once it arrives. The next thing I have on my list is oats. Oats are another one of those things. It's your grains. Oats are so good for you. If you eat oats every day, you'll definitely notice a difference. They are excellent. You can grind them up and make flour, so you can make oat breads, muffins, things like that. You can use them as flour. You can eat them as oats. There's a million things you can do. And again, they give you really good nutrition for eating those oats. The next one is salt. You need salt in your body. Your body requires it. And iodized salt, I think, is important to keep, because if you are cooking all of your own food, you're not getting all of that stuff that's in prepackaged food at the store. So you're going to need salt, and, you know, in moderation, and also for preserving food. If you fish, if you hunt, anything like that, you can salt cure the meat to make it last, and it's a great preservation method for survival, definitely. The next thing is baking soda. Not just for cooking, although you can make quick baking soda biscuits or something like that with your flour. It's also excellent. You can brush your teeth with it. You can clean stuff with it. It's really good for cleaning, and it's important to have all kinds of stuff. Millions of uses for it. Really, if you look up uses for baking soda, there are so many uses. I think that is another really, really important one. Now, the next one is sugar or honey, some type of sweetener. Again, it increases your calorie intake, and, you know, it gives you that little extra energy when you need it. In a survival situation, you're going to need more energy. If you're not getting enough calories, you're not going to have enough energy to do the work that you need to do. And the last one that is so important is vinegar. Vinegar is another one of those items I think is a survival item. You can make your own vinegar. If you have apples, you can make your apple cider vinegar yourself. It is not difficult to do it all. It takes a little bit of time, but vinegar is one of those things that's really, really important. You can preserve food with it. It's great for your body. It also, you can clean with it. There's so many things you can do with it. Vinegar is another one of those multi-purpose must-have items. And for a bonus, if at all possible, if those 8 basics are the only thing you can afford to put in your pantry, those are the ones I would get. But if you can afford a little bit more, you're definitely going to want some vegetables, something, you know, to go with it. And you need the nutrition from the vegetables. Even dehydrated vegetables, not as nutritious as fresh, but definitely if you can put dehydrated, freeze-dried vegetables in your pantry, those are an absolute, I think they're a must, but you can get by without them, but having them will really help you nutritionally in a survival situation. So I know these are all pretty basic items that most people already have in their pantries, but I think it's important, especially we've got a lot of new people on the channel, and there are still lots of people learning and things like that. And it's always a great idea to go back over your preps to see what you have. Sometimes we are digging into our preps and we like to keep things rotated. Sometimes things get lower than we think we want them. And it's important to take a gander at what you actually have, wherever it is. You know, if you have your stuff in multiple places, take a look and see what you have. Inventory is really important to do every couple of months. Some people do it weekly, some do it monthly, some do it every 6 months. Totally up to you what works for you. But I think making sure that you have really good supplies of these basic survival foods is so important in your pantry. And, you know, add those spices if you can, because they have medicinal properties and they make the food much more delicious. These foods are all very bland without any spices or flavorings or anything. So I love spices. Lots and lots of spices. But I just thought we would go over just some basics. So it's a good reminder for people, and definitely for new people, even, you know, if you can't afford to have a wide variety of items, sometimes the money just isn't there. And in this economy, it's definitely understandable. It's very difficult to get all the different things that you want to have. I love the open and eat foods for emergencies, but in a survival situation, these basics will take care of everything. And that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.